Right.
right? You started off as a deprived, so you had no gear. So when you get, it's because you're running around in a loincloth in a club.
I'm a slow rolling deprived for some reason.
Yeah, right? It's like if someone deserves a break, it's you, buddy. So, Boolius, is that what I'm calling you today, buddy?
Or Matt, either one.
Okay.
Either one doesn't bother me.
So Matt, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on stream, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, should be the one thanking you. So no worries.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about what's going on and what's going on in your life and how we can be helpful for you.
I mean, it's like a lot of things, right? I'd say like I kind of struggle with like moving forward in life and having a purpose and sort of like just knowing what to do with myself, I guess.
Okay.
Motivation, definitely one big thing.
Okay. So. And so when you say it's a lot of different things, that sounds to me kind of like one thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, so it sounds like you just don't know what to do with yourself. Like,
right.
So like that's why you don't have motivation. Like you don't know what you're doing in life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So why is it that if you just don't know what's going on, like why do we come up with multiple answers? Like how do you think that works?
Say that again?
Well, okay, let me ask you this. So the basic problem is that you're directionless in life, right?
Right.
But when I ask you what's bringing you on, you say it's a lot of different stuff. Right?
Right.
So let's just explore for a second why it is that we feel like a lot of different things are going wrong when there's just one root problem.
Maybe sort of the symptoms of that. Or
Absolutely. So let me ask you something, Matt. Do you feel like you're overwhelmed?
I'd say so. I think I'm pretty overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah. Right. So I want you to just notice for a second that even though there's one problem, that the feeling of being overwhelmed makes you think that there are 1,000 different problems. Like you see all of the symptoms. And that's exactly what feeling overwhelmed does. When we feel overwhelmed, we take one problem and we can see all of the different things going on with it. And that overwhelms us and also paralyzes us. You're smiling. Why are you smiling?
Either, I don't know, awkwardness or just realizing what you're saying.
Okay. So how do you feel right now?
Anxious, I guess.
Okay. What do you mean by anxious?
Just being on stream with like
sure
50 people or whatever sort of thing.
Okay. Oh wow, there are 50 people. Okay. Well, we'll lose viewership soon. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on and being honest with us because I think this helps a lot of people. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no worries.
So what is it that feels overwhelming?
I'd say just trying to figure out, because I feel like there's so many options with like what to do with my life, and it's also like I don't really know how to find that or even figure out what I'm doing or what I'm doing wrong, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is that you don't know where to start.
I'd say that's a pretty accurate statement.
So I think that the challenge here is that I think, Matt, you're a smart guy. And so the problem with being a smart guy is that you can see many different options, right? Like you're a hypothetical analytical capability. You can say to yourself, oh, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. But then it's hard for you to figure out which one to actually do.
Right.
So what do you think it is that so tell me, what don't you like about your life right now?
I don't like how I feel about myself all the time. I don't like feeling like there's a lot of like chaos and things that I struggle to do, like do the dishes or clean my room or do my laundry, like so much stuff that regular people can just do normally. Not feeling like I have a purpose or a goal, definitely as well.
Okay. How do you feel about yourself?
It's been slowly getting better, but I don't think a lot of time I just don't feel good in general, and that kind of applies to myself as well. So
Okay,
like
what?
just not liking who I am, or I've been able to look in the mirror and like how I look more recently, but just like beating myself up over mistakes and stuff like that.
Okay. Do you feel like you're kind of a bad person?
At times, um,
Feel like you're a waste of space?
no, I don't think I'm a waste of space, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I generally say I'm a pretty decent person. Like I try not
Okay.
to be a crappy person, but I mean, everyone has their
Good for you,
moments, right?
man.
So
But everyone what?
everyone has their moments, right? Like everyone can mess up and do things that aren't good, right?
Yeah.
So
And it sounds like you've been practicing it, forgiving yourself for those moments?
um yeah, kind of. Um I think so. Somewhat.
Okay. So oddly enough, I'm not hearing anything that makes me think of. So it sounds like you have kind of a low estimation of yourself.
Right.
Help me understand what kind of thoughts you have.
I mean, I can be like very critical of myself over things that are like dumb
Like,
or
well, okay, hold on. So why do you think they're dumb?
I think I don't know, some things that aren't important.
So do you see what you're doing right there? You're being critical of the way that you're critical of yourself because you're calling them dumb,
Right.
right? You see that?
It's a whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole meta level thing.
Yeah.
So what are you critical of yourself about?
Um it's hard to think things I'm
Okay.
critical of myself
Okay,
about.
so let me help you out. So you mentioned earlier that you struggle to do a lot of things that normal people can do.
Right.
Like what?
Like yeah, like do my dishes, and I was going to the gym for a while, but then I stopped when me and my
Okay.
girlfriend broke up, and like doing recycling, like doing just like the general things, like showering every day and
Okay.
brushing my
Like
teeth, like just
taking care of yourself
yeah,
or not taking care of yourself.
right, yeah.
And is that something that so do you this is going to sound weird. Do you think that that's a dumb thing to be mad at yourself about or an appropriate thing to be mad at yourself about?
No, that's appropriate.
Okay.
Um,
So I want you to just notice the critical nature of your mind, right?
right.
So like your mind has actually like a mode of operation. What game? You're a gamer?
Yeah.
What do you play?
I was playing Dark Souls earlier. I also play a lot of like MMOs. I grew up on like Korean MMOs, like Maple Story and stuff like that. So
Okay. Okay. So, in Dark Souls, we have different loadouts, right?
right.
So right now, your mind has equipped the self-critical loadout.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter like what, it's like, so I would say that the self-critical loadout is almost like slow rolling in Dark Souls. Like it doesn't matter what armor you're wearing. If you're slow rolling, you're slow rolling. So you can try to change as many different things as you want to about your equipment, but if you're slow rolling, it's always going to be slow rolling. It's the only thing that your mind knows how to do.
Right.
So you can be self-critical. Like, so the first thing that I want you to do, if you want to be free from your self-critical thoughts, there are a couple of things that we're going to work on. The first thing, though, is just to notice what your mind is doing.
Right.
Because
I'm gonna write this down.
Okay. So a lot of times, like, we operate based on what our mind tells us to do, but we don't really question the operations of our mind. Right? So, like, if you wake up one day and you decide, like, okay, I don't feel like showering, you sort of fight a little war with your mind, but you never try to understand, like, why is it that I don't want to shower? You try to fight your mind, you don't try to understand it.
Right.
So the first thing that I want you to do is just try to catch yourself when you make a self-critical thought. And we're going to talk some more, and I'm going to keep an eye out for it, and I want Twitch chat to keep an eye out for it. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not actually watching Twitch chat, but I don't know
Yeah,
if you
me
are.
neither.
Okay.
Because people are saying don't watch chit chat. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, don't watch Twitch chat. So the first thing is just I want you to notice the self-critical mind and notice how like your neurons have basically locked into a pattern of self-judgment. And the reason that this is a problem, like if you are judging yourself and you're critical towards yourself, what do you think that does for your motivation?
Does not help.
Okay. So I want you to, now we're going to expand that a little bit. Do you think it motivates you to do some things?
Yeah, I'd say sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, like what?
Drawing blanks.
Okay, that's okay. So it's good enough that I think you're aware that maybe somewhere in there's some kind of motivation. You're just not able to figure out what it is. And so let me help you out. So this is what I want you to understand, Matt. When you wake up to play video games, like if you play video games all day, like what I want you to think about for a moment and appreciate is it's not that you lack motivation. It's just that you're motivated to play video games all day. Like if you think about like if you're playing video games so much that you're not like let's say showering or brushing your teeth or taking out the recycling, that's actually a very high degree of motivation. You're so motivated to play games that you're letting all this other basic stuff like fall to the side. Like imagine I was an artist and I went into my studio and for 3 days and 3 nights I shat in a bucket, I didn't brush my teeth, and I didn't shower, and I produced this great work of art. We would call me highly motivated. Right?
Yeah.
But like, so the first thing is that for you to understand that you actually have a lot of motivation, it's just not in the direction that you want. So this is where I think negative emotions and negative feelings about yourself are going to motivate you to do some things. And mainly what they're going to motivate you towards is to be avoidant.
Right. I'd say I'm pretty avoidant, yeah.
Yeah, right? So give us some examples. Help us understand that.
So for example, I got in a car accident with my ex like the end of September.
Okay.
And my parents didn't know about it until like 2 weeks or like a week or two. Yeah, I think about a week ago, like last weekend sort of thing, because I was just like so scared of like how they would react that I just didn't tell them.
Okay. So let's think about that for a second. So when you're afraid of how they're going to react, how can I say this? So that sounds like a reasonable fear. Are your parents rough with you sometimes?
I'd say so.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I know my brother's in here as well, so he can probably relate, sort of. But I think kind of my thoughts.
Matt's brother.
My thoughts on it are, I'd say I saw my dad recently because he lives in a province over, so like kind of far, and he can be very like abrasive, I guess. He can be very negative, like hard to get along with because he's always like complaining about stuff. Or I mean, he's been better, like he's been more supportive, but that's like more recent. And sometimes I would visit him and I'd be like, I don't want to be here because of the way he acts. Like it's hard to be around him for like a long period of time.
How does it feel when you're around him?
It just feels weird. I mean, and it feels just awkward sort of thing. I feel like.
What feels weird about it?
Just I think my relationship with him. So it's like I don't know how to act around him. Like to treat him like a friend or like a dad. Like.
Okay.
It's just odd.
Yeah. It sounds like you don't know what you're supposed to do when you're with him.
Right.
Like you don't know what to say or you don't know how to act or.
Yeah. I'd say that's generally kind of what it feels like with family. And I feel like when I tried to be like honest, sometimes it can get me in trouble. Or
Can you help me understand that?
So like, I basically I had a whole big argument with my parents the other day over like, um, I was kind of talking about my mental health with my mom, and she didn't. Um, she's like, "Oh, do you think your mental health affects your motivation?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Where do you think that comes from?" And I'm like, "Well, I think when you guys got divorced, that was kind of the whole catalyst for everything, right? Or the starting point. Because that's in my mind, that's where I think it was like where it started from.
And what do you mean by that? What started when you? How old were you when your parents got divorced?
Probably 7 or 8, yeah, like a 7, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in those 3 years.
And what do you think it was that started?
I think like just sort of like a downward spiral of me not feeling good about myself and not doing like things I should be doing, like my homework, or just kind of, yeah, just not feeling good all the time, or not
Hmm.
feeling like good about anything, or sort of just the depression sort of thing, I think.
Okay. When you say the depression sort of thing, so it sounds like you started to not do the things that you were supposed to do. It sounds like you started to feel bad about yourself.
I'd say so. I
Do you
well,
remember?
I, it's hard. My memory's kind of been messed up over the years. It used to be a lot better, but so I don't really remember a lot of it, but I know that was
Okay.
like the starting point.
What do you remember?
Um, I just remember feeling like really alone in my life for a long time.
Hmm.
Like it's probably the biggest thing.
What is it like to feel alone?
Just I don't know, like there's nobody supports you, or nobody cares about you enough to like wonder how you're feeling, or how you're doing, or
Hmm.
anything
Did your
that's like
parents
important.
did your parents ever talk to you about how the divorce was affecting you?
Not really, I don't think so.
And you started feeling pretty alone around the age of 7 or 8?
Yeah,
Is that how you feel?
cuz
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying cuz it was like that, and then moving a lot, and having like a new stepdad who wasn't the greatest, and also other stuff, right? So it kind of compounded, I guess.
Okay. Tell me about moving.
Well, I moved from Alberta to BC in probably I don't know how long later, like within a year of the divorce. So it was like I lost all my friends, and
Hmm.
um
Was it hard to make new friends?
at the first school I went to, it wasn't too bad, but I moved to an after that I moved to an area that's like primarily East Indian people, so like people similar to your ethnicity, and because I'm like a white kid, it was harder to make friends, right?
Hmm.
So that's kind of part of it, I think, as well. Not having
Okay.
as many friends.
Wow, that sounds kind of rough because it sounds like you actually made the first transition okay. Made some friends, and then it sounds like your mom and stepdad up and moved again
Yeah,
just when things
basically.
were going well for you.
Yeah,
You're making an adjustment, and life kicks you when you're just about to get up, right?
tends to, I find, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's definitely you kind of talk about a downward spiral. I think that'll do it.
Yeah,
Sorry, man, that sucks.
that's okay. It's in the
T-
past, I guess.
I think it's in the present.
Yeah,
What do you think?
somewhat. Well, I mean, yeah, it's still all that stuff still affects me, right? So yeah, I think it's in the
Yeah,
present.
yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that
Hmm.
because what does that say about you as a person?
That it still affects me, or
Yeah, because remember, I mean, somewhere along the way we were talking about how you're like not a It's not that you're not a good person, but that you can't, you're kind of fucking up.
Yeah.
Right? That's the sentiment that I get. It's not that you're a bad person, it's just that you're kind of fucking up.
I'd say so, yeah.
And so what I'm kind of curious about is like, do you deserve a little bit of slack?
I think so, but I mean, when I try to be honest with like,
I
when
think
I try to be,
so, but
when I tried to be honest with my parents about that, like they just got angry and thought I was like blaming them for everything that I'd done and stuff, which is like kind of understandable. I mean, I talked about it with my therapist a little.
Okay.
And I can understand why they got mad, but it's like, I don't know. I just want them to kind of understand that like everything had an effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to happen. So
yeah, I think it can be rough. It can be hard for parents to understand that. It can be hard for one human being to understand that my actions can affect you, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's my fault, but that at the same time, it can be hard for you.
Right.
It can be very hard for parents to not hear blame when you kind of talk about how something like a divorce, which may have been the right move on some level, right. Still, like, I mean, some things are going to be shitty, and like that's just how it is. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily their fault.
Right.
So do you think you deserve some slack?
I think so, but I mean, yeah, at the same time, I feel like I'm still pretty critical of myself because of
how I've right.
Since
there's the slow roll,
right.
Right? So when we think a little bit about what you've been through, like it's reasonable to think that you're not just fucking up everything. I mean, I think you've been dealt a kind of a rough hand.
Right.
You started off as a deprived, so you had no gear. So when you get, it's because you're running around in a loincloth in a club.
I'm a slow rolling deprived for some reason.
Yeah, right. It's like if someone deserves a break, it's you, buddy. Because you managed to slow roll in a loincloth. Like that's not easy to do in Dark Souls. So why don't you give yourself a break?
Because I feel like I could be doing more to help myself, but I'm not, or I don't know how.
And what is that? That's the slow roll.
Right.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing good enough. You're fucking it up. Right. You could be helping yourself more, Matt. Why don't you help yourself more? There it is again. So, I mean, I think the hard thing is like, these thoughts that you have are kind of like a hedge maze. Like everywhere you turn, it's just hedge, hedge, hedge. Everywhere you turn, it's like critical, critical, critical.
Right.
Right. It's hard to get anywhere when you're slow rolling. Just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And so what do we do about that?
I don't know.
Okay. How do you think, if you were your friend, what would you do?
Still don't know.
Okay.
I just, because, my situation, I don't know. It's just weird to think about. I don't know what I would even do. I'd probably help someone, but I don't know how I'd help them.
Okay. So, oddly enough, Matt, that's the first fast roll you've done. I want to point out what you did, right? So, like, you said, like, I don't know how I would help them, but I want to help.
Right.
They deserve help. I just don't know how. That's not self-critical. That's actually like acknowledgement. You see that? If not, you got to let me know.
What do you mean by its acknowledgement?
So I think that you're in a tough situation and you don't know how to move forward, but there's a big difference between the slow roll, which is, why don't you know how to move forward, Matt?
Right.
And I don't know how to move forward. Do you see the difference between those two statements?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
one's more constructive.
In what way?
It's not just me beating myself.
Yeah. I think the other thing is it's an acknowledgement of where you are. Because all of your self-critical thoughts are about where you should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You should be helping yourself more. You should be taking care of yourself better. You shouldn't let all the stuff from the past affect you. We can replace all those self-critical thoughts with the word should. There's actually a big difference between I should be helping myself more and I don't know how to help myself. Even though that sounds like a statement of ignorance, I actually think it's a statement of knowledge. It's I know that I don't know what to do.
Right.
That I actually think is incredibly powerful, although it may not feel like it. But I think that's the first step forward in sort of saying, hey, like, I'm sort of stuck here. I'm not hearing any blame. I'm not hearing, like, why am I stuck here? Like, why did I end up in this place? Why couldn't I get out of this place? You're just kind of saying, like, well, here I am. I don't really know what to do.
Right.
Here I am, the slow rolling deprived. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to beat anything if I'm slow rolling around with the obese body type in Dark Souls.
Can't even beat Gundyr.
Yeah. Gundyr's hard, man.
Yeah, I died to him 3 times. Every other boss I've beaten in one try, besides Pontiff. So
Gundyr's in 3, right? Or is there a Gundyr?
Wait. Yeah, in 3. Yeah. Dark Souls 3.
But the way to beat Gundyr is just two-hand your club, and you don't need to roll. He's got to stun his ass. He's got low fatigue, right, or whatever that is, guard break or whatever.
Poise.
Stamina. Yeah. Poise. Just go to town, and that's what you got to do. Stop slow rolling. Just go to town.
Start picking up the club, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is picking up the club for you? What does that mean?
Doing something that feels like I'm moving forward, I guess.
Yeah. I would even take a step back from feels like you're moving forward. Just do something. Move forward. What does that mean practically?
Just try to do something that will lead to something better, I guess.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know.
What's something that you're not doing right? You mentioned a couple of concrete things.
Right.
Like what have you mentioned? Like what?
Like cleaning my room.
Okay. What in your room needs to be cleaned?
I need to do my laundry and dishes and stuff.
Laundry and dishes. How long does that take?
There's a lot of laundry, so it's going to take a while. But I think the dishes would take me maybe like a half hour.
And how long, how are you going to do your laundry?
Like, just put it in the washing machine and then the dryer.
Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of meditation, because I hear people on stream want to do more meditation. Okay? So I want you to close your eyes. Sit up straight. I want you to tell me how you feel right now.
I don't know, kind of anxious a little, I think, but
okay, anxious. Generally okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel in your body?
Just like my hands, I guess.
Okay. So I just want you to take a snapshot of how you feel right now. I want you to notice that there's some anxiety, but I would guess that there's a certain heaviness which you've gotten used to feeling.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
You kind of feel heavy?
A lot of the time, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, so I want you to check your encumbrance right now and just make a mental note of what it is.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. So now I want you to open your eyes.
Okay.
You have dishes in your room?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have... was the washing machine being occupied?
No.
Okay, you know where I'm going.
I'm going to go do dishes and wash...
Yeah, so I want you to come back in 10 minutes. Do what you can.
10 minutes? Okay.
Go put in a load of laundry. You have a phone or something?
Yeah. Right here.
So set a timer.
Okay.
And go put in a load of laundry and do as many dishes as you can.
Okay.
Right? So what are we doing right now? You're equipping that club. Like, you made the mistake of like hitting the right direct D-pad button. So you swapped out the club for the fist, and then
For the broken straight sword?
Yeah, for the broken straight sword. There it is. And that's not going to work because that's not going to hurt. There's not enough poise damage. So go.
Right. Okay.
Twitch chat is waiting.
Okay.
I'm losing viewers as we speak.
Shit. Okay.
Okay, so I know that Twitch chat, I hear people saying, God, I need someone like this in my life who motivates me to do things. So newsflash, Twitch chat, you can do something too. So I want you guys to think about the same thing, right? We're gonna do, I want you guys to close your eyes and think about how you feel. Feel the energy in your body, or the lack thereof. Feel the fatigue, like focus on your lower back and feel like the gel in your lower back. Like, feel the heaviness. Just close your eyes and just feel the way that you feel right now. Now open your eyes and look around. If you've already done... Yeah, if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay. Look around at the things that you need to do. And we've got 7 minutes. So what can you do in 7 minutes? If you've already done your laundry, fine. Is there anything that you need to clean? Do you need to go through your mail? Do you need to do anything? Do you have dishes to do? Do you need to brush your teeth? Okay, so if you've got dishes, go do your dishes. And then, otherwise, if you guys don't have anything else to do, I'm going to do 1 round of Surya Namaskar, and you guys can do it with me. Okay? So I want you guys to follow along. Stand up straight. In front of you. Let your heels touch together. And then arms up. Touch your biceps to your ear. Feel the stretch. Then touch your toes. Let your head hang. Let the weight of your body drag you down. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Let the weight of your body hang down. Now put your palms by your feet, straight line, and extend one knee back. So your 2 hands and your left foot should be in the line. Your other foot should be back. Put the other foot back. You're going to kind of be in push-up position. Now lay down on the ground. With your forehead, chest, and knees touching the ground. Stick your butt up in the air a little bit. Now push up, put your hips to the ground, push up. You want hips on the ground and you want your back bent. Elbows bent is fine. Main goal is that your hips and your toes should be touching the ground. Feel that stretch in your back. Now we're going to go into downward dog. So put your heels, try to keep your toes and your heels on the ground. Stretch back a little bit. Let your ears be the level of your biceps. Now right foot forward, in line with your two hands. Left foot back. Left foot forward. Yourself hang. Arms up. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. All right. Yeah, I realize that that's probably not the ideal way to do yoga because you guys can't, that's going to be tough. But so I'm gonna had to do this in the restroom, so I stuff dishwashing stream. Okay. Yeah. So SI6 says, I like it that you can't touch your toes. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I want to see a bunch of inflexible gamers trying to touch their toes, not a bunch of flexible yoga teachers actually touching their toes. So I have a question for you guys. What do you guys think? How do you guys think that Boolius is going to feel when he comes back? Anyone have any idea? Okay. Well, let's see. Right, so we'll see. So he's got about a minute or two. And then, well, I mean, I think his laundry is going to be in the washing machine for a while longer. Yeah, so what do you guys think about that? Like, what are we really doing here? Like, aren't we supposed to be talking about his feelings? I'm a psychiatrist, isn't that what we talk about? Doesn't he need therapy? Talking about how he's depressed, his parents are divorced, he feels alone. How does this work? Why am I doing this? And the other question is, so how is it that Twitch chat, so I'm just going to read out loud. Exhausted, much better, lifted, lighter, accomplished, motivated, refreshed, and slightly proud, anxious, at peace, mini quest completed, better, dishes aren't nagging him anymore, relieved, energized.
I beat the timer. Nice.
Okay. So, did you guys hear what he said? What did he say?
I said, "Oh, am I supposed to say it or?"
What did you say?
I beat the timer. Nice.
Yeah. I didn't think I was going to hear you say the word nice in the way that you did over the course of our session today.
What's
that make sense?
Oh, because it.
What is that nice? What does that mean? How does that feel?
It's like a good feeling.
Yeah. How do you feel right now?
Better.
In what
Partially.
way?
I feel like I accomplished something. Or I
Okay.
did something that I needed to do.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
How do you feel?
A little better, yeah. Just kind of happy, excited.
Okay. How's your encumbrance?
A little better, but I still feel heavy.
Yeah. So, Boolius, I think you have a lot of work ahead of you, man.
I think so, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. Indifferent, maybe?
Mm-hmm. What happens to that feeling of slight excitement as you start to think about the problems ahead?
It's like, oh, shit.
Absolutely, right? That's the feeling.
Right.
That's the feeling. So now this is the big revelation. So like if I wanted to sell you guys a false sense of joy and hope, I wouldn't have asked you, what do you think about the future? We would have stopped the stream with, how do you feel? You say better. And then I say, cured, rise and walk. You are cured, my friend. I have fixed you. But that's not how it works. So now we're going to wade back into the shit. And when you start thinking about changing your life, you start to feel like this is insignificant.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to do the real teaching, okay?
Okay.
Which is, what is the difference between how you felt 60 seconds ago and how you feel now? Or actually, not what is the difference. So you understand you feel different. You felt good 60 seconds ago, now I'm making you feel worse again.
Right.
Indifferent means that the evil ogre that has been lurking in your mind is starting to come out again, and it's like you feel conflicted because you feel hope, and that specter is still there. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't think it's truly indifference. I think it's conflict.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Okay. So let's just think about what the mind was doing when you were feeling good and what the mind was doing when you started to feel bad. Was your mind in the past, present, or future when you were feeling good?
Present.
And when I ask you, what does this mean for you going forward, where is your mind?
Future, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're critical about yourself, where is your mind?
Past or future?
Beautiful. Okay. So now I just want you to appreciate that for a second. And now we're going to do, I want you to do another experiment for us, okay? And then we're going to move to Q&A, Boolius, unless you want to like talk about your parents and stuff, but.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind. I can talk more about it.
I feel though that like the best way to help you right now is to actually have you to notice this for a minute. So I'm going to ask you to continue. You still have more shit to clean?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna transition to Q&A, but I want you to pay attention to something, and I want you to check back in with us in about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. I want you to do more work and then try to notice where your mind is. Like, as you do more work, like, try to get a sense of, okay, is my mind in the past, the present, or the future? And then I want you to come back on in about 15, 20 minutes after we answer a few questions. And then we're going to talk some more. And I want you to try to notice, as you start to feel bad, where does your mind go?
Okay.
Okay? Do you have thoughts about what the punchline is, or do you want to just wait until we get to until you actually do it?
Well, I'm sure the punchline is future bad, present good.
Okay. So experiment, right? So this is what I want you guys to do at home as well, is like understanding intellectually what the punchline is helpful, but what really needs to be done is an experiential understanding. In Sanskrit, there are two words for knowledge, vidya and jnana. Vidya means information, vidya is transmissible, and it's objective. Jnana is experiential, personal, and subjective. Our society, Matt, which one do you think our society values more?
Probably the former.
The former, yeah. Vidya, right?
Yeah.
Information and objective. I completely agree with you. But if you want to change your life, Vidya doesn't do it. Information does not change your life. Experience changes your life. So knowing the punchline and feeling the punchline are two different things.
Right.
Like, you're a smart guy, and I bet I could have asked Twitch chat about, like, past, present, future, but I just want you to appreciate for a moment that when you were living in the present, you actually started to feel better. You felt excitement. Twitch chat was saying that you looked happy.
Right.
Like, you were smiling, but that wasn't an anxious, I'm embarrassed because I'm fucking talking to the internet smile. That was like I actually did something today smile. Those are two different things. And then just think about all of the times that you're feeling bad. Where is your mind?
Somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah. So now go and test it, right? So go and continue to do work. And check back with us in 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I'll do some recycling then.
Okay. So, like, how long? What are you doing? Are we doing 15 minutes, 20 minutes? Help me understand. What are we doing?
Let's try 15. I'm sure there's more stuff I could do anyways.
Okay, 15.
Yeah, plenty of stuff I could do.
So. Okay, so we'll check back with you in 15.
Okay, I'll set a timer and then I'll just put music in or whatever. Okay.
Okay. So Vidya and Jnana.
Okay, I'll set the timer.
Good job, dude. Go for it, buddy.
All right, thanks.
We can talk about your feelings when you get back.
Awesome.
Okay. We're going to jump to Q&A for a little bit. All right, so first question. Okay. Our dude is back. So we're going to switch. All right. So, I don't know how much of our conversation. Do you catch any of our conversation?
I heard basically like the latter half of that last thing about girls.
Okay. So the question that we had was about, like, should you focus on yourself or should you ask girls out? But let's come back to the present. So tell me how you feel, Matt.
Pretty okay.
What does that mean?
Like, not crappy, just okay. Kind of maybe observant or something. Like I'm being conscious.
Beautiful, right? So this is something that's actually really cool that's happening. So now you've noticed that there's a third way of operating. It's not good or bad, but that there's actually there's perpendicular movement on that axis. Like earlier we were talking about feeling good or feeling bad, and now you've discovered that there's a third layer. Like there's like a layer up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're just watching yourself.
Right.
And that thing doesn't feel good or bad.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to ask you something. Do you feel peaceful?
Yeah, I'd say peaceful is a good word for it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that's really important to understand. Peacefulness and suffering is on a different axis from emotion. Excitement, happiness, joy, sadness, self-loathing, all of those operate over here. And peacefulness and suffering are up here.
Okay.
Do you it's sort of like a neutral feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like you're watching yourself.
Right, yeah.
So that's the first step to something called vairagya or detachment. There's space. You used to be all here, and now a piece of you has moved over here. And it's kind of like a weird neutral, like it doesn't feel bad, it doesn't feel joyous, but it sort of feels good. It's kind of chill. It's like peace.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you feel like that?
Not often, I wouldn't think. No.
Absolutely. I think this is a relatively new experience for most people. Now, the question is, how did you get there?
Not sure.
Yeah. But so let's just understand what's happening. You're starting to feel a little bit peaceful. You don't know exactly how it happened. You're kind of okay with it. It's not excitement. But how would you be okay feeling this way for 8 hours a day?
Yeah, it's maybe. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think so. Probably 8 hours is enough. Yeah.
What do you mean by so when you're hesitating? Is it because you want to feel that way more or feel that way less?
I don't know. I don't like sitting in one emotional state. Like if you're stuck in it, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't think this is actually an emotional state. For the record, I think this is separate. That's what I was trying to explain to you, is that like peace is up here, but your emotions can actually be bouncing around. You can actually cultivate this sense of peace while you're feeling happy or while you're feeling sad.
Right. Okay.
And I know that's when you say right. Do you understand? Does that make sense to you, or you're just logically agreeing with me?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. So please explain this to us. What do you mean by that? How is that possible? What do you feel? I know it's new to you, but like just stumble through the words, baby.
Like you kind of feel things, yeah, like down here, but like you're sort of more aware and like thinking about how they affect you, and like on a probably more logical plane, I guess.
Okay, I want you to pay attention to what you said. How they affect you.
Right.
There is a difference between your negative emotions and you, which until this moment, I'm not sure you appreciated, because you used to be your negative emotions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But now you're noticing that your negative emotions are not actually who you are. They are over there and you are over here. I know it's kind of weird and abstract, but like I really got to know if you're with me or if you're not with me, because it's okay to not be.
It makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Right? So how does it feel to be separate from your negative emotions?
Like good.
Yeah. So have you heard of this thing called enlightenment?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's kind of heard of it.
Yeah, so what's your understanding of what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, that's kind of...
I'll give you... So now, Matt, you have taken the first step forward. Because enlightenment is when all of your emotions become fully separated from who you are, and that separation is permanent. So that the small inkling of peace that you have now becomes your default state and encompasses your entire awareness. That's what enlightenment is.
Right. Okay.
So somehow, you've started to cultivate a sense of detachment and separation from your negative emotions. And you don't know how you did it. So what do you think happened? Like, how the fuck what did you do?
I don't know. I was just thinking about random stuff, and I was like listening to music, and I was enjoying it.
Okay. So were you in the past, the present, or the future?
I'd say more so the present.
Okay.
I was like thinking about stuff that like, I was like thinking about like the stream and just like answers to questions and random stuff. I don't know.
Okay. So your mind was active, but you were like kind of reflecting.
Yeah, and maybe like daydreaming a little.
Okay. So your mind was operating and you got some more work done?
Yeah, I did like a lot of the recycling and like
Okay.
put away groceries and stuff.
And how do you feel right now?
Like peaceful, yeah.
Okay. So I'll take it.
Okay.
So what does this mean for you going forward, Matt? Have we cured you?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
It's a step in the right direction.
There we go. I'll take it. So now the question becomes, what's the next step?
Right.
It's not rhetorical. I'm actually asking.
Oh, not sure. Probably
Okay.
figure out what I want to do with my life or something. Or
Oh, that's not a step, buddy.
that's a
mountain.
journey. Okay.
No, that's like saying, okay, like what's the next step? And you're saying like, okay, I'm going to climb to the top of Mount Everest. Figuring out what you want to do in life is not a step. That's the goal. That's like what you reflect back on when you're 80 years old on your deathbed. That's when you figure that out. What's the next step, Matt? How did you get to this peaceful place?
Doing stuff and thinking.
Absolutely. Doing stuff and thinking. That's the motto. You're absolutely right. Action and reflection. That's a fancy self-help, meditation, yoga hippie, Whole Foods magazine, action and reflection. But really what it is doing stuff and thinking. So what are you going to do? What is some stuff that you can do? See, there's an easy answer to this question. What needs to be done?
Right.
Actually, give me an answer.
Probably clean more or...
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Or what?
I mean, there's like plenty of things I could be doing, right? So there's no like one right answer.
Absolutely. So just pick something. So cleaning and what else? Pick one more thing.
Well, I wanted to like kind of figure out what I want to do with streaming because I've been streaming, but maybe edit videos or something. But I feel like that'd be later because I want to figure out what I'm going to do with that first. So.
Okay. So how does one figure out what one wants to do?
No clue.
Okay. I'd start by talking to someone.
About what?
So you want to figure out what you want to do with streaming, right?
Yeah.
So I'd try to find a sounding board. So like, try to find someone that you can talk to about streaming.
Right. Okay.
Like, who can you talk to about streaming?
Like my friends or something?
Yeah. I mean, is that actually something you could do?
Yeah, I mean, I could do it, yeah.
Okay. So clean, talk to your friends about streaming. And then what was the other thing you said? You said do things and what? And think.
Oh, think, yeah, okay.
So what are you going to reflect on?
Not sure.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. So you did something that was a little bit more than thinking. You did some noticing. And so if you want to cultivate that peaceful sense within yourself, it's not about thinking, it's about awareness or noticing. You paid attention to what you were feeling and thinking. You observed it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see how paying attention, paying attention, does that happen in the past, the present, or the future?
Present.
Absolutely. So I just want you to pay attention. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your physical sensations. Pay attention to music. Whatever you were paying attention to, just think about like what were you actually paying attention to? Where was your attention focused over the last 15 minutes?
Okay.
And as long as you can notice and you can act and you can clean, then you're going to start to feel this way more and more. And we can get into as much psychological bullshit about your parents and depression and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff has value. That's really what therapy is about. Twitch is about changing. Twitch is about changing your life. Therapy is about feeling better. So you have a therapist, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, counselor, I don't know. It's all...
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Same difference. Okay. Any questions for me?
Not really, no. I always struggle with whenever someone asks me that, so...
Yeah. Good. So I want you to notice, what was that? Was that a fat roll or a slow roll? I mean, sorry, slow roll or fast roll? That was a fast roll, right? But just think about that. Like, you were making a statement about your ignorance, but it was actually a fast roll. You're like, I struggle.
Honesty, or?
Yes. Yes, my friend. That's exactly what it is. How does it feel to be honest about your ignorance?
Good. I'd say, yeah, this feels pretty good.
See, that's fucking weird. Shouldn't you be ashamed about showing the internet how ignorant you are?
No.
You should be, but you're not. So this is the other thing that I want to explain to all of you guys out there. Your negative emotions have power over you as long as they live in the darkness. Like, what is therapy? How does therapy help people? You're talking about your negative shit that you keep inside, and we know that that therapeutically helps people. That's what it does. That's what it's for. And crazily enough, Matt, when you are honest about the stuff that you suck at in life, you feel better.
Right.
But when you are not even honest and you judge yourself and you talk about hypotheticals and you talk about should, that's all inauthentic, and that makes you feel bad. So be honest with yourself. And it's okay to suck. It's okay to be rejected. It's okay to fail. It's okay to do all that stuff. Just be honest with yourself. And then cut yourself a break. Right? Because, like, what can you really expect when it comes to Gundyr if you're, like, a fucking encumbered deprived with a club?
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah, right? And so cut yourself a break and, like, acknowledge that, you know, you're gonna need to grind for a little bit and maybe find yourself a decent weapon and, like, some armor and a helmet and, like, a set of gloves, and then you can, like, you know, you can go back. Your life isn't over. It requires a little bit of grinding, which in this case is cleaning and talking to your friends about streaming and practicing, like, noticing. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to, like, level up your meditation stat. And as your meditation stat goes up, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get to, like, you can get a mala, which is like your little, what's the thing? The stick? What are they called in Dark Souls?
What stick? Torch?
Like, no, not the torch. The spell casting items.
Catalyst?
Catalyst, that's right.
Or talisman? I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Talisman and catalyst, right? So, like, so give yourself a little bit of time and work at it and level up a little bit, and you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
How does it feel to hear that?
I don't know. Whenever it doesn't have an impact on me anymore, I feel like.
Yeah, I can tell. You've never said thanks, buddy, over the course of this conversation. Like, like, what is that?
I couldn't just say when someone compliments me because I don't know how to react, I guess.
There you go. See, that's inauthentic. Thanks, buddy, is inauthentic. I can smell it from a fucking mile away. It's like, Jesus. Okay. So if you don't know how to accept a compliment, that's a conversation for a different day. Right? If you can't accept a compliment and you can't accept that people have faith in you, it's because you don't see worth in yourself. You think I'm just wrong. Or you think I just don't get it. But anyway. conversation for a different.
Right.
That make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we got to talk about being unable to accept compliments too. I think that's important.
Okay.
But thanks for coming on. Anyone have questions for my LordBoolius?
Oh, now I get to look at chat. Yeah.
The slow rolling Deprived.
2 thumbs up.
I think we're gonna do. Oh,
my stream.
Okay, so people are saying thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Matt. I think you talked about a lot of really important stuff. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you helping me realize and having an impact and stuff.
Yeah, I love it. See, that's authentic. I appreciate you helping me realize and having an impact and stuff. That's it, baby. That's where the magic happens. Seriously, man, thank you so much for coming on. I think, I really do think you're going to be okay. You just got to work at it, right? You got to level up a little bit. You got to understand that, like, you can't take out Pontiff with your slow rolling stick. Like, you got to get yourself some loot, and that takes time, and cut yourself a break because, your stats, like, you forgot to spend. Your life is the equivalent of not spending any of your stats at level 1. It doesn't mean that you're just permanently worse. It's just you've got to, like, you got to just spend those points, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then, let us know how you're doing. We can come back on, and if there's stuff, are you going to watch this VOD?
I was thinking about saving it. Yeah.
Yeah. So watch the VOD, and then if you want to come back on in like a couple of weeks and talk about something else, and give us an update on how you're doing, I think that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to set that up now so I don't forget about it?
Look at that. Okay. Yeah, let's do so you don't forget about it. So I don't handle my own schedule.
It's not forgetting about it. It's like
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Put it off or something. Yep.
You guys see this? This is important. So Matt is realizing he wants to make a change. And Matt is also recognizing that, like, there's a part of him that unless he holds himself accountable, he's going to, like, let himself slip. You guys see that? You see that, Matt?
Yeah.
You're kind of saying now or never. So let me ask you something, Matt. Where are you operating in right now, my buddy? Are you operating in the past, the present, or the future?
Present.
Absolutely, right? Even though you're scheduling something in the future, you're operating in the present. Right. So we're going to do the 20th.
20th, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Your room better fucking be clean by then.
I'll try.
I'll try.
Okay, it'll be in a better state. I don't know if it'll be 100% clean, but
why not? Wait, hold on.
Why
can't it be? Because what?
There's things in the way. Like I need to get someone to help me with the IKEA furniture, so I actually have somewhere to put my clothes and other things.
Ooh. Do you not know anyone?
I know, like, some people, but I mean, like, how do I tell call someone and be like, hey, can you help me build this IKEA furniture? I can't do it alone.
Okay, so if you need, do you have friends?
I do. I don't know if they would actually want to help me with building IKEA furniture.
So how are you going to find out?
Asking.
Absolutely. Right? So be like, hey, man, like, I need some help building some furniture. Can you give me a hand? If you need help building furniture, I will help you as well. Or pizza's on me.
Right. Yeah. Seems like a good idea.
Okay. And try that and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
There's no shame in failure. There's only shame in not trying.
Yeah. You think also, someone who plays Dark Souls wouldn't be so scared of failure, but here I am.
There you go. Right. So now we're playing ball. Now Matt's playing the Dark Souls analogy game. It's not just me. So this is good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Okay. Good luck, man.
Okay. Thanks, buddy.
See ya.
Oh, that was a genuine thanks, buddy.
I can tell. I know.
Okay. I'll watch the stream now.
So. Yeah. You guys see how well Matt is doing? Matt is being able to tell when he's authentic or inauthentic, like, already. And you guys can tell the difference too, right? You can tell the difference between the bullshit thanks buddy and this thanks buddy. This is actual appreciation. He's doing it. This is great. Strong work, man. I'll let you go now.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.